becomes more apparent, especially during this pandemic. So this is definitely taken, by the organizing committee as well as Toyota's end, to ensure that this is a very safe event for everyone involved. Everyone from participants to broadcast, even us casters as well. We have to be tested. When we came in here, and we have very strict rules about bubbles. We're very designated zones for each individual team as well as crew. So just making sure that live events can still continue on even with the situation being as it is in Malaysia. Even though the pandemic seems to be on the going on the down right about now, it's still high enough that we still want to be able to ensure that we can run a good event here with all the SOPs in place and ensure a nice, good session for everyone involved. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we are about 5 minutes into this qualifying session. So far, we got Mika Hakimi setting a 126.6. That's very competitive there, especially when you consider that Mitchell's time was also right around there initially. So hopefully they'll be able to break that into the 125s. But so far, Mika Hakimi being a little bit higher compared to everyone else.
Right, very revealing indeed. In terms of time, we do see that between Hakimi and Adam, not much of difference here in terms of the best times. Looking to see them, like you have previously said, push into the 125 mark. We do see Adam already crossing the finish line, getting another time 126, 8% of the second. So I do think that those timings are starting to improve in favor of Adam. However, Mika Hakimi still remains ahead, an elusive target, or in fact, an elusive time for them to beat, as their majority of everyone is going to be crossing turn number 1. Let's talk a little bit about the track here. 9 total turns here in the North Paddock, if I'm not mistaken, and we do have some special rulings for one of these turns, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
That we need to talk about here to properly, educate our viewers at home.
So yeah, there's kind of a big talking point. A lot of teams are about track limits. So yeah, track limits is still a problem. Even here in the Vios Challenge, it's also a problem in other racing series as well. And here Sepang is no exception. So this round here is a little bit different than round 1. So if you remember, in round 1 there was track limits being enforced on turn 8. So this time around is no longer going to be the case. Drivers going to be free to use turn 8 as much as they want. They can go up on the grass if they like to. They can go all off on the ramp off. They can just basically do that, and track limits are not enforced. The stewards are not going to be looking there. They can just do whatever they want. And the reason for that is simply because of the interest of safety. Surprisingly, because the problem is that when track limits were enforced very strictly on turn number 8, that kind of forced a lot of drivers to hold the inside a lot closer than normal. And what tends to happen is that drivers will dip their tires into the grassy area on the inside of the track. And that becomes a big problem, especially if it ends up becoming wet on the track. That little ditch there that's transformed by the tires going over, that eventually becomes mud. And that mud is going to end up affecting the track. It's going to cause the surface to become very slippery. And that becomes a safety issue, in the end. So that's why teams got together. They had a meeting, together with the stewards as well as the race director. And they made the decision that, okay, from for round 2 onwards, we're no longer going to enforce track limits on turn number 8. You're going to be free to go out as wide as you can. The only place, though, there's still track limits going to be enforced. The only place that's going to be enforced is on turn number 4. And I think that's going to be a very interesting one there, because I feel that actually is going to catch a lot more people off guard compared to turn number 8, because turn number 4 can be very, very tricky. And turn number 4 is also one of those kind of turns where exceeding track limits definitely gives you a huge advantage, compared to exceeding track limits on turn number 8.
Yeah, so turn number 4 is